Hello everyone! Tuesday. Let's do some live coding here. My name is Stefan, and what I did just a little bit earlier, maybe last month, maybe the month before, is that I bought this domain, which is today-i-learned.dev. And for the people that are maybe not familiar with this whole thing that some people do, which is Today I Learned, and that's basically a lot of people that just share random tiny learnings about, usually, this is what I'm interested in, which is usually web technology or web development or programming related or anything like that. And I bought this domain. It was a topical shower thought, so now I have to do something with it. I decided that I do that on Tuesdays here on Twitch, because I heard Twitch is what the cool kids do these days. And what we have so far is that I decided to go with Next.js as a data store and Next.js as a framework and Firebase as a data store. So what we did just last week is that we have already a Next.js app running here on localhost 8080. And what this does is, oops, I clicked this one. What this does is that it is already showing a bunch of Today I Learned posts that I'm currently fetching the RSS, but I think I'm gonna drop that, to be honest. And what we can now do here is you can upload certain things, and all of these kind of things are going into Firebase Cloud Firestore. And I actually wanted to research what the whole difference between all these different Google Firebase products is. But yeah, this is using Firebase Cloud Firestore. And you see here that it's already collecting upvotes. And this works fairly nicely in the application already. It's showing the number of upvotes. And currently I'm storing plain text emails here in an upvoters field. And how we did this was that basically we implemented a route component in Next.js, and we wrote a custom hook that you see here, which is use Firestore. And what I would like today, moin Niels, how's life? So what I would like to do today is I would like to first of all tear everything apart, because I did a little bit of research and it turns out there are we did a lot of plumbing to make the whole thing work. So when we have a look into this use Firestore hook here, which is a custom hook in React, well, we did a lot of work that we probably didn't have to do if we would have used this React Firebase hooks that are ready to use. You see there that the GitHub repo or the npm package has, so it has 1.5k stars. Is there an npm? Let me do something with the music. I've started adding music to this thing, and I still have to figure out what music I like here. So the whole thing is also on npm. So when we have React Firebase hooks on npm, I would say that it's fairly safe with 15k weekly downloads to use this package. So as a first step, what I would like to do is that I would like to replace my past implementation using vanilla Firebase, using the vanilla Firebase SDK with this one. And then what you see here currently is a prefetched list coming from RSS feeds. So what I think I'm gonna abandon this idea, and I'm gonna drop that so that it becomes a little bit more like I don't know, a Reddit kind of thing, but focused on Today I Learned posts, so that people submit their learnings or maybe some resources there, because also the RSS stuff here is not working super nicely, because now in development I always have to fetch all the RSS feeds that are submitted, and I think I'm gonna abandon that. So as a first step, what we would do, and I'm still figuring out my setup here, and it looks a little bit laggy. What do you think, Niels? Is it okay-ish? I still have to figure out all these streamer setups and how all things work. It looks a little bit laggy in my preview, and the reason for that is that I'm running Snap Camera in the background, and man, that makes my computer fly. Just to have some random effects when someone interacts with the chat. So if you're curious to see what is actually available here in this stream with the chat, you can paste in exclamation point help, And there are a bunch of commands that you can use that all make my my computer fly though. There you go, Niels, you just made it into the stream. Congratulations. Cool. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have a look at the Firebase hooks, and as a first step is probably that we should install this buddy here. So I'm gonna head over to my terminal, let's see, and yeah, just just to show you what's going on here. So we see here the streaming software is doing some work, but actually the whole work that makes my computer fly is basically Snap Camera. So I'm gonna head over to my terminal, and now I already know that I use a package that is not made for the Node version that we're using, so I have to pass this flag all the time, which is pretty annoying, but it is how it is. When we drop the RSS hooking, I think that this will be resolved. And when we have a look here, what's the package name? So that's the package name here. Here we go. Oh, the music is not really my jam again. Okay, so let's install React Firebase hooks, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do React Firebase hooks here, and then let's see how we're gonna use that. Here we go. So first of all, we installed that, so we did that. We're not caring about upgrading from V1 to V2, and we are interested in Cloud Firestore hooks. All documents. The hooks wrap around the Firestore collection methods. Okay. So how do we do this? For that, let's bring in, first of all, how do we do this? So we start our journey from here, and currently this uses this custom use Firestore hook, and it does that like this. So it gives back a few today I learned posts, and then there's an upvoter method exposed if someone wants to upvote a certain post. So what we probably should do is maybe we can use it inline here. I think that makes sense. So let's see. How do we use the whole thing? So we do import use collection. Okay. So let's start with this one. So we're gonna import that. And then it gives us a value, loading and error property. So that looks cool. And I think what we should do is probably that we should comment out everything that we had here, and we should probably gonna start from scratch. So I'm gonna copy all thing, I'm gonna comment it out here, and let's see if we can implement the same thing a little bit quicker than we did before. So we're gonna keep these kind of things, and instead of using this buddy here, I'm gonna go for this here. So the question that I now have already is, where is this coming from? And I don't see it. All right, so Niels had a point. Am I managing today-i-learned posts in Contentful? Nope, currently I don't. How about a webhook with Firebase functions that is called on post change and saves the data in a Firestore? I just started with RSS because I thought it was a quick first thing. What I thought to do now is to have a submit form that directly writes to Firestore. So I wouldn't necessarily have a need for Contentful. And then people could just submit certain Today I Learned posts here. I'm thinking of having a URL and maybe a little description field if it's really just five sentences or something. So I wouldn't see the need to use Contentful here because I don't think that I want to edit anything. So for me, this is a little bit odd, the interaction from with with people, so they can submit. People can submit what they learned, and then people can just like, oh, ooh, super cool, super cool, super cool. Okie dokie. So, but this starts already great, because how do we authorize this whole thing? So when we have a look here, we see that it has Firebase, Firestore, collection. All right. So maybe we can already, we have this similar logic here, maybe. So we have Firebase available if we import it here. So let's do just Firebase stuff here. And then we would have the first thing here already. So we have Firebase, Firestore, collection hooks. So when we look what we did before is probably have to do that too. Because that adds this collection, this Firestore thing to the object. And now we have let's just gonna drop these because we're not dealing with the authentication of the user. So we currently only implemented it on the root. So oops, this stopped. So we have to start this one again. Yarn dev. So it is also already available to log in and log out using Firebase. So this should now be back here, hopefully. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah. So I can log in and log out with Firebase. This should open a new window here. I think this is already pretty cool. So with this and a little bit of Firebase magic, what we already have is that people could authenticate to log in and out, and then people could submit their learnings on the new today-i-learned platform. So, and when we now, and you see that this is why it's taking so long. This is just, I really should drop the RSS handling from before because it's fetching a bunch of stuff. Okay. So what do we have here right now? We have some undefined stuff, which works. So let's just comment a bunch of things out here. That was too much. Let's comment a bunch of things out, and then let's see if we can fetch the data with the other hooks instead of our custom implementation. And what I'm going to do here first is we're gonna just do a JSON stringify of value so that we can have a look at what data comes back. So the collection from the last week is we had a name which was till post, so I assume that this should be this one too, and then I have no idea what this basically does, but we're probably gonna find it out. And I assume now that we have to still do some authorization, something like this, so that it's knowing what's going on. And when we're lucky, we can already now see the data coming back. So converting circular, well, that works great. So maybe we should just log it out. So this error appears when, yeah, there are circular structures inside of a JSON document, then you cannot stringify it. So let's have a look if we already get our data available here. So let's see what happens now. Let's open the DevTools. Here we go. 33, undefined, and a T. So what do we have here? All right. So it looks like that there's something going on already. We have some errors that we can deal with later because I don't think that they're related. Maybe they're Prometheus run here. So when we now go back, let's see how we actually should use that. So we should do use collection. It uses a collection, and then we get a value. And this is a docs property. All right. So let's find out if we can get all the documents here. So when we go back, we can. All right. Value is undefined initially because it has to fetch the data in the client. So let's just do this. And then here we go. We have here now 10 entries. And if we do map doc and return doc.data, I assume that we already get the data back that we have. So let's see. What do we got here? Nice. So because we're now having a very clean number 10, I would like to question a little bit if this is accurate or if we have to paginate things. So we have here 3, 6, 9, 10. So let's delete one and let's see if it is giving us the right results. All right, so let's now do a refresh here. And that looks good. So this already invalidates the complete session of 2 hours from last week into just use a library that has figured everything out for you already. Cool, so what we could do now is we could make our way through this whole thing that we had from the last week. So what we had here was that we had a headline first of all, and then we were mapping over articles. Which is basically now value docs is what we want to iterate over, because it's not articles anymore from the custom hook. And then we have to call data on it first, because this is now this weird Firebase object. So this is not what we're gonna use. So we're gonna drop this here and we're gonna cut this out, and we change this first of all to be a proper function. Here we go. And then we probably can drop this. And now we're missing some stuff like this. All right. So what we could now do, because we now have a functional scope around it, what we can do is we can do const date, and then we do doc.data. And here we have doc available. And we don't use the date currently. And we're gonna ignore this part for now. And then we have this part too, which we don't care about right now. So with this, we don't see any errors anymore. So let's see what happens. Okay, so at least we see 9 things that are coming from Firestore. But we don't see the title. So we have our map function available here. So what data are we dealing with? We're dealing with... Aha. So we currently don't have a title, which means that... Why don't we have a title? Because I think, yeah, so what we did last week is that we had the information about the resource or the title or something coming from RSS. I think that we should flip that around and implement a form that submits new resources, including the title here. So what we now have here is that probably we don't get a title because it's not stored in the data like at all. But what we can do here is we can have a look at this body here to show a count already. And here we see that this, oh, what did we do here? So we had a count. I think that this should be just upvoters now. And probably we can do upvoters length here. And then we add upvoters length here, and otherwise we go 0. And with this, hopefully we see already some... Here we go! Nice! So theoretically, this is now already mapping to the data that we pumped into Firestore last week. So we have here the upvoters property, which is just an array that currently holds my email address. So every time... Here we go. So some improvements. Let's do some fancy stuff here. Thank you, Niels. Here we go. So let's improve that one here. So what we now should do first is, I guess, is that we should work on a form that makes it possible to submit new resources. And for that, we're just gonna do plain dirty here, and we add a new form here on top, and then let's see how this whole thing goes. So what I'm expecting is that we have a form. This will then on submit handler, something like this, and then it should include, can I do emit in here? No, I cannot. So then we have a label which has input. All right, so what do we have? What we probably need here is a title. Okay, let's see, what else do we need? Then we need a URL, and we probably need a submit button. Submit till post, and this one can be type URL, and we make the whole thing required. And this is then type text, which is a default, and we can do it, make it required. And then I think this is good enough for now. So then that's the question, how do we add things now to this Firestore collection? So let's see what we have. How do we create new things? Use collection data. As use collection Firestore present docs rather than the... I have no idea what are query snapshots or what the others are. Oh my god. Okay. So can we just look in the documentation for create? Okay. 0 things for create. Well, that is interesting. So it looks like that this is only for reading data from Firestore. So I think React provides convenience listeners for collections. Yeah, I think it's really just about listeners. So I think it's still then time to have a look on how we used Firestore the last time. So last time we had this logic here, which was set data. It's not available on the hooks thingies that I get. So I would assume, Niels, that we have to do that vanilla Firebase. What do you think? So set is not available in this document. So assume that we would have to do, how did we do this? We had something like this here, and then we had let's clean up some logs because we don't need these anymore. What did we do? If not, yeah, it was this here, right? It was doc till post set post data, and this one was this buddy here. Yeah, so I think what we want to do probably is that we want to add the same thing, and if we're lucky, okay, so let's bring in a helper function here, which is like const create till post, and this will, let's see what we want to do with this. So what we want to do first is we want to grab the DB collection, which we have here, and with this we probably can already extract the console. Oh, there's so much stuff going on my, let me clean up some things. Okay, so what we want to do here probably is const Firestore database ID, which is till posts. So let's grab this one. We're gonna bring that one in here, and we're gonna bring that one in here. All right. And then what we want to do is we want probably to do the same thing here. Here we go. Let's see. Doc. Let's just add a random ID here for now. And then the post data should be probably post data. So what I'm expecting, DB is undefined. Where's DB coming from? Here we go. All right. So with this, I assume that, or I hope that this will add a new Firestore entry, which then will automatically trigger the new custom hook so that we can submit things. Okay, then we have to call create till post on the form. So what we want to do here is create till post. Can I serialize the data on the form? Because I don't necessarily want to connect everything with state here. What I really just would like to do is I would like to listen to form submit, and then I would like to have the form data in a JSON format. So let's see what happens. So here we have our stuff. This already should complain, yeah. And this should now, let's give it a let me check out the code extension. What's up? This now opens. Stupid me. So this opens Firebox, which is my. I have to find something to handle this. So let me remove that one here. Here we go. To-do tree from Grunt Fugly. Oh nice, that looks cool. Yeah, I'm completely on the Todoist train. That's the only thing that really works for me for private life and work life. I think it's very clean, very nicely, and sometimes I like to get out of my editor actually. Cool. So what we would like to do is submit the form and then see if we can fetch the data somehow. So what I actually wanted to do is React hook form. Let me give that one try and then let's see how this goes. First of all, I want to have here a value already in there so that I can press the button for development purposes. So let's do hello world. Here we go. And with this, it should now do this. And here we have nothing. Well, that is great. Console log event. Okay, I cannot read value docs. Let's just do. Hey Hassan, how's life? If not value, return loading. Here we go. So with this, we should probably be able to get rid of this error here. Loading works fine. Cool. So we have still some errors here, but I don't care right now. And here we have the event, and it has a target form. Isn't that what I looked at initially? So event target, here we go. Oh, we're just doing some live coding here today. So what we're building is something with Next.js, with Firebase, and we're building today-i-learned.dev. And it's been quite a while ride so far. Super nice. So form seems to be, event target seems to be undefined when I log it, which is super weird. So let's have a look here inside of the target. Come on, show me. Let's first, we should stop this form from submitting because this is where we're seeing these refreshes. Okay, so now let's submit this. Here we have our target form. Get JSON values from form element. Well, Jason Langsdorff, so let's see how he's doing. Because I'm a big fan of kind of using things vanilla, the DOM way, instead of doing a lot of things in React. Yet to be defined function. Okay, so let's see, we have the elements. Whoa. Form to JSON, where's this coming from? Yeah, okay. I thought there's something nicer than iterating over all the fields here. So, what did you say? React hook form? npm react hook form. All right, let's see. Ooh, fancy, a GIF. Use form, register, handle, submit. Okay. Okay, I'm sold. Let's do this. So for this, we have to reinstall another dependency, which was like, what was it? React hook form. Let's add that one in, and then we're gonna do, first of all, we're gonna skip this noisy track, and then we're gonna do yarn.dev. So let's have a look what we should do. We should do use form. All right, I can do that. So we can comment that one out, use form, and then we're gonna do handle submit, handle errors. Here we go, and then we have a form. Oh yeah, that indeed looks beautiful. So what we want to do here is really just handle submit, handle submit, and then what was our function called? It was called create till post. Create till post. Let's close this one off. Get rid of this one. And then we have to register. Okay. So let's register this one. And let's register this one. And then we would have our little helper function, which I assume, let's comment that out for a moment. Post data here. Sweet. Unsubmit, unsubmit. All right, cool. So let's have a look. Let's do a little refresh here. Let's see what's going to happen. Fair enough. Name, title, and here we have name, URL. Yeah. Oh, I like that. With the little emojis, I think that's cool. Okay, so when we now submit this, sweet. So, do I have to register that actually when I have the thing in? Oh, I cannot. Okay. Because I thought that it wouldn't trigger anyways if I have. Yeah, let's just add it in. I don't mind. So here we have like this, and here we have like this to make these forms required. I wonder though if I still need to. No. So this is what I don't like about these JavaScript implementations, that these kind of attributes that are in the platform itself are very quickly forgotten or not used. So let's see what happens here. So when we now have this, first of all, I cannot type in this field anymore because of this. Let's see. Yeah, I cannot. So it's not reacting to any any keystrokes here. So something is blocking the input. Let's deal with that a little bit later. Remove it completely? Is that how React forms work? I don't write React every day, so really just do it. Sweet. Good call. So we have some validation here, and I would assume that if this wouldn't be, that there would be some error property somewhere. So what we want to do here is a hello world, and then we have example.com, submit this, and we got the data available. That is already super nice. So what we then can try to see if that works really on the first try is to submit this thing into Firestore. So when I submit this now again, we need an empty up folder. I think that already works. Let's see. Here we go. Nice. So what we need here is an empty up folders thing. So I assume. All right, so let's ignore the doc ID. Thank you, Niels. And then what we would have to do is we spread in the post data, and then we're gonna have upvoters, and here we pass, and for now just my email address, but then we can connect that with the session that the user actually have. Oh, this is going super nicely today. I'm getting excited here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here now is, first of all, I'm gonna delete the whole collection to start fresh. Let's delete that one. So that now should be empty. We're back in here, which is cool. So let's loading, that works nice. Hello world. Example. Oops, did I hit enter now? Example.com. I think I hit enter. Was it? Yeah. Okay. So, but now we would have potentially three entries in Firestore if we do a refresh here. Nice. So and what we can now do is we can already bring back the voting mechanism that we had in the list. So what we can now do is this here. And then there's the question how we do this. How did we do it last week? We had upvote, so we had this here. I think this is only what we need. Okay. So what we can do in here is, let's see, do we have the database available in the thing up front here? So we have DB collections, so we should probably extract that to const firestore database equals, that looks good. So now we can reuse this one. We can reuse it in one place, which is here. And then did we have it somewhere else? I don't think so. So now we have the Firestore database. This should be the... Do we get an ID back here? Let's just log that out and see if it's available. ID, then we use the ID, and then is it merging automatically somehow? And then we want to do upvoters. Should we? Okay, I'm not sure how to do that right now. Let's just do maybe link, title, and upvoters, And we're gonna spread in upvoters, and we're gonna bring in another one, which is test. Okay. So when we now do this, bounce. Function collection reference doc cannot be called with an empty path. Okay, is that now? Did I break with my renaming the adding to? Let's see, test. No, that still works. So what we did here is for adding stuff, doc, set, doc, ID, set. Function collection reference doc cannot be called with an empty path. Okay, so the ID is not available. That's probably it. So let's have a look at what we get here. Give me the log. Here we go. There's no ID available. What? Oh, it's probably doc ID, huh? Let's see. Here we go. Okay. So it's doc ID. And then, oh no, let's stick with that. Yeah, let's go with that for now. Function document reference set called with invalid data, unsupported field value, undefined, found in field like. Link, title, upvoters. Okay, so this ID is wrong. We can get rid of this one. Then oh, it's not link anymore. Aha. Is that overriding things? Can I just maybe just do this and it's merging the stuff together? That would be nice. So let's see. Nice, but it is overriding the whole thing. So is there a way to merge? I feel like a little bit like we had a Firebase SDK Firestore JavaScript. I feel like there was a... Yeah, we have that one. Is there something to merge things? Merge. Yeah, let's just spread it in then. And Can you post a link to the documentation, Niels, so that we're looking at the same thing here? I'm still confused how to navigate the Google documentation. Here we go. Okay, let me just copy that one. And okay, the URL is breaking. My chat box there. That's a little bit unfortunate. Okay, so is there something to merge? Combine. Okay. So then we have to spread it in, I guess. So what we're gonna do is very dirty. Let's just bring in doc data again, see if it works, and then we can. Here we go. Let's give that a try. So when we now go back here and we add this one, this looks good. Nice. There's a headline, update specific fields. Here we go. Okay, so let's see. To simultaneously write to specific children of a node without overriding other child nodes, use the update method. Sweet. This looks pretty much what we want to do here, I assume. So let's see. Is that still working? So what we now had is we re-implemented the whole 2.5 hours from last week with a few libraries, and it seems all to work, which is nice. So let's just do a final test here. So hello world, final URL is https example.com. Submit this. Nice. Looks good to me. Super sweet. So now when let's just clean up the database to have a look at it from a fresh state. So now this is empty. And so what should we do next? So what we now have is we have basically form. People can submit a form something. The URL is something like this. And now, sweet, which is the number of upvotes. That is super nice. And it was not actually much code, to be honest. So we could now submit another one. Article, no, till 2. Nice. So let's clean up the log here. The log which we have on 89. We don't need that one anymore. And I think what we could do next is basically make something with it, I guess. I assume, so there's this little bridge in here, which is if user something, then show this one. Sweet, yeah. Hey René, welcome back. How's life, René? So I think that we probably should then connect this whole thing. I think that's a very good idea. Connect the whole thing with proper user thingies. So when we have a look now at the Firestore stuff, let's see what we're persisting here. Bam, bam, bam. So we have things, and yeah, we have a lot of test thingies. So I think it's time to have a look at what we actually did with the user authentication and the login mechanism, and let's see how this actually works. So I'm gonna have a look at the user, and then we see what we have available for the certain user as I'm currently logged in. So we have a user ID, we have an email address, and we have a token. So what should we store here? Should we just store the user ID? Yeah, I guess the user ID is the best bet for now. So let's see. So instead of bringing in test, we bring in user ID, and we have here a disabled thing, and here we do let's bring a function here is disabled. Oh no. Can I pass a boolean to disabled in React? Disabled boolean attribute. How do we do that? And we do React. Yep, gonna do that in a moment. Let me just check how I do this. Is it a boolean that I pass in here? Okay, it's disabled. Yeah, okay, got it. So what we want to do if upvoters upvoters includes user ID disabled and otherwise go with an empty string, I guess. So what's your problem here? String is not... Oh, so it is boolean. Okay. Here we go. So let's see. Nice. Tiny steps at a time. I'm already super into it here. Okay, that's cool. So when we now do... Oh, then we should bring in the user ID into the callback here too. So what we want to do here is probably we want to do this. Create till post data, and then we call this one with data and user ID. Oh no, we're gonna do it like this already. We're gonna do data upvoters, and then we do user.id. Yep. And then when we have a look at create till post, we can actually drop this whole thing here already, and we can say post data. And then we can also just remove this like this. Toggle the vote mate to undo a vote. Is that what you mean, René? So when we now have hello world toggle https example.com. So we have now hello world toggle. Yeah, nice. That looks good. So I'm always not the biggest fan of platforms that have like a downvote mechanism or something, but I'm super up for unvote or something. What do you think about that? So what we then can do is, in the list, what we could do is, okay, I have to get rid of all this chiptune stuff. So what we should do is probably have a variable value which is voted already or something. I check the has voted in the submit function, or else I could remove the disabled. Or else I could remove the disabled in the... Fair enough. Okay, so one step at a time. Let's make that a little... but we don't have the... Okay, so handle submit. Create till posts. Okay, let's let's do one step at a time. So first, let's do the undo of a voting. Const has voted is equals this one. And then we do if user button, and then if... Do I have to put that into a fragment here? I think I do, huh? And then we do if not, then we're gonna, so if has voted, bring in another button, undo vote, and here we go, type button, and then on click, undo. Let's see what happens here now. Okay, so when we resubmit this, undo, okay, undo, sweet. So how will we now do this one? So for that one, we have the document available here. Oh, but wait, maybe we can even, let me try out something. So this here is already coming from the Firebase hooks that we implemented. So I could assume that doc has the update. Oh, typo. Good catch. But let's see if we can remove this one here to just tidy things up a little bit. And how do we test that now? Because I'm placing the... okay. So let's ignore this part for a moment, because it makes testing very hard when we pass the upvoters already in there. So let's do this. Hello. Can I read property includes of undefined? Oh yeah, that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is basically grab this buddy here and ignore that one. Here we go. Yeah, right now the button is always showing because I think because the user ID is always pumped into the whole thing. Cannot read property. I think now I messed up the data. Some of these don't have the upvoter. This one is this one. Get rid of this one. And now every entry should have upvoters. Yep. So looks good. Let's do a refresh here. Okay. So all of them have my current user ID. So when we now add another one. Okay, so that was not the problem, and Niels is right, maybe after all. So if has voted, what's that? That's not what I want to do. Button, and otherwise this. Has voted. So this is what we want to do, like this, and like this, and like this. Here we go. Nice. When I now do this, everything breaks. Let's see if my refactoring actually... If we can just do this, because that would be super nice if that would work. Yeah, it does not. That's unfortunate. So this is then still Firebase doc, something like that. Alright, so with this, whoops. With this, we probably can already upvote stuff. Nice. So how would we now undo things? How did we do this? We have the, okay, const new upvoters equals upvoters filter user ID not equal user ID not equal user.id, and then we can probably do exactly the same thing here. Doc ID update app folders, new app folders. All right, let's see. Oh, I'm already digging it. Oh, I love that. Let's see. Things are still a little bit funky in the React sphere, but I think you're right. So what we should do is, first of all, there's if there's a user, these buttons appear, and then if the user has voted, we do this, and if the user has not voted, we do this. I think that's an excellent call. And this is probably unvote. Oh no, this is upvote. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is a pretty nice thing here already. I think that's super nice. Okay, so what should we do next? I mean, what we have now is, I think we have to clean up. Oh, let me see what happens when we log out, because then the whole buttons shouldn't be available like at all. So when I now log out, we go to posts 1. Let's see. I don't see. Let's hope. Can I read property ID of null? Okay. Let's see, which is in line 128. Has voted, upvoters includes user ID. Yeah, the thing is when you just think, yeah. So I have a strong, not a strong, but I have a background in accessibility, right? And when you have these kind of things like one button that does several things, it's very hard, first of all, semantically, and for assistive technology to figure out what that actually means. Because if you change these, or if you just react to if you change the DOM in certain things, usually it's not properly propagated. So in these kind of cases, I would always vote for two different buttons. One disappears, another one didn't. And because then this is most likely more accessible to yeah, I don't know, screen readers and such. But that is just my accessibility background. So when we have has voted, we don't have a user ID. Exactly. Big Ellie advocate here. So let's see. We have a user. So has voted is outside of our user condition. So how should we do it? Should we just return if there is not a user? I mean, we could just do if not user, return empty string. Done. Case closed. I hope. Let's see. Did I clean up all the posts? What's happening here? No. So that's not gonna fly. Okay. So that's not gonna work because we still want to iterate over all the posts that are in Firestore. Currently, I'm not hiding anything. Yeah, I mean, I'm removing and adding it to the DOM. But the thing there is, I think this is a good question. Let's maybe test that out in a moment when the rendering is done here. So I think, do we have? Okay, we have that only once. So let's bring this one in so that the list is working again. And then let's see. So now we should have the list back. We still have some key chisels. So let's do key doc ID so that we can get rid of one error. Did that work now? And then let's see what's happening. So this now looks good. I'm not logged in, which means I shouldn't see the buttons. And currently we still have to be on the home route to kind of log in. So let's do that very quickly. So we're logging in back again with Firebase. That looks good. And now we're gonna go back to posts. I mean, we could really just fire up VoiceOver and see how that should behave the best way. So my first check would just be on keyword accessibility, right? So let's see if that works. That works. I mean, let's find out how VoiceOver behaves if we replace the button. What we see already is that it is keeping the focus on the right element, which is pretty sweet already. So let's see. Can we spin that off? Let's see. Where do I turn on VoiceOver and accessibility? VoiceOver, here we go. So let's see.
Welcome to VoiceOver. VoiceOver.
Yeah, use VoiceOver. I don't think that you can hear that, but you should probably see it when I move it in. Okay.
Candidate list shown. You are currently on it. Candidate list shown. Can submit TIL post button.
Button. Okay.
Undo vote.
Undo vote button. Yeah, and now when I submit this one,
press Control Option Space.
oh, that's actually pretty cool. Okay, so let's see what happens when I now.
You are currently on a button. To click this button, press Control Option Space.
Oh, it is not announced. At least not in. Okay, then.
Article button. You are currently on a button. To click this button, press Control Option Space.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Undo
vote button. You are currently on a button. Upvote this article button. Upvote this article button. System preferences 1. System preferences.
Okay, ignore what I said. It's not gonna
window utility system preferences VoiceOver
work like this way. How will we do this? It's keeping the focus though, which is interesting. I mean, we're rendering two complete different buttons here. So let's try your approach, Niels. I mean, what we could do is, if I got that right, what you wanted to do is, we wanted to do. So let's comment that out for a second. And you said basically, let's grab the button. Let's grab the button, and then we would have a few conditions in here, which is if the upvoters include the user ID, then do undo vote and other vote, otherwise upvote. And we would have something in here, which is basically if it includes VoiceOver is the assistive technology that comes by default with macOS. There are several different things available for Windows, Android, iOS. Overall, macOS is pretty good on these accessibility things, and this is then for folks that have trouble seeing, or I think there are actually also just people out there that like to have things read out to them. Oh yeah, ARIA Live. Yeah, we could bring in an ARIA Live region. So the thing there is that let's see for we're investigating something here, right? So let's see what happens. I think we can leave the unclick empty for now. Let's see what happens, at least in VoiceOver. And VoiceOver is not the only thing that we should test here to make that properly. But let's see what happens if we just change the button text here. So we're gonna go back. And we see first of all an exception. Okay, so this now should stay exactly. No, we have to change the data because otherwise it's not updating. So if includes undo, and otherwise we want to do this. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this works again. So let's bring back in VoiceOver. And let's see if this is announced.
Welcome to VoiceOver. VoiceOver speaks descript.
All right.
VoiceOver on Chrome Canary. today-i-learned.dev. Candidate list. Submit TIL post. Undo vote. Button list 6 items. You are currently on a button. To click this button, press Control Option Space. System preferences. Accessible. VoiceOver off.
All right, let's try a live region. All right, so ARIA live regions are ways to expose information to assistive technology. So for example, there's this one very nice example from the Gatsby folks, accessible single page navigation or something. So basically whenever you do, yeah, I think it was this one. Yeah. So basically what they did is single page applications by default are not the best thing for assistive technologies for people that want to navigate the web with things like screen readers. So, and what they found out is that what a lot of single page applications usually do is just replace the whole body with something new. The problem with these kind of technologies like assistive technology is that, well, they don't see or learn or discover necessarily that the DOM was changed. So the whole navigation structure in single page applications is usually fairly broken for these kind of technologies. And I'm just going to drop this one in the chat. So the folks from Gatsby did a little bit of research there, what it actually takes to, I think there's also ARIA in here, yeah. What it takes to make it accessible. And this is basically exactly that. They recommend that, and Marcy Sutton was there in the lead. So if you are hanging out on Twitter and you want to learn a little bit about accessibility, you should definitely drop Marcy a follow. She's very active in this sphere. And basically the recommendation here, at least from the Gatsby people, and that's the best thing on the topic that I've seen so far, is that you should have a kind of an HTML element somewhere sitting in the page, and whenever you basically do a single page navigation, then you update this region, and then it will be accessible for assistive technology to say, hey, we just updated this, watch out. And then of course there are completely different things that you have to take care of, like what happens to the focus when you click a button, because this is number one of kind of dealing with accessibility, is that you keep in mind what happens to the focus handling, because if you want to build accessible and good things, you have to have a understandable focus handling. And this is not an easy, quick thing to do. And this is also why I'm always a little bit into the let's do the vanilla way, because web by itself usually is accessible by default, and whenever we bring in a lot of JavaScript, it just becomes a little tricky. Okay, but I added the ARIA live region, and now we can see what happens here. I mean, if that would work, that would be super cool. So let's see, I'm gonna bring back in VoiceOver.
VoiceOver on system preferences, accessibility window.
Here we go.
Accessibility features table. Candidate list shown. Candidate list shown. Submit TIL post. Upvote. Button lists 6 items. Undo vote. You are currently on a button. To click this button, press Control Options.
Oh, that is. Oh, this is so nicely geeky, nerdy. I love that.
Vote. Undo vote.
Case closed. I think we can go with Aria Live.
System preferences, accessibility window, accessibility Chrome Canary, system visual.
But here, when we're at it, I think that we should still do one thing. What we can do is for assistive technology right now, when you do it like this, you see it's like undo vote, upvote, 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 upvote. If one would navigate around like, hey, show me all the buttons, these buttons are not very. They are not very descriptive. So what we could do here too is we could add Aria label, and we could say let's bring in Aria label and say the same thing here. Oh no, oh, are we geeking out here on accessibility right now? But let's see, what we could do too is let's do Aria described by, and let me see if that works, and then I'm gonna explain what is actually happening here in a moment. So what we can do here is, where's our title? We had somewhere a title, didn't we? Here we have our title.
Grade S. You are currently on a text area. Al, 14 of 16. P. Greater than.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I should turn that off.
Window. VoiceOver off.
So what I want to do now is that I want to give the title a ID so that I can connect certain pieces together, and that is actually pretty nice. So what we could do here is now, was it a doc ID is what we have available, I think? Yeah. Let's say doc ID, and then we do make this a template string. And call it title. In theory, we can now connect the button to this title, and let me just quickly check if this is written down correctly. Aria described by. Okay, it's not a capital B. So in theory, what it should do now is it should say upvote, and then it should connect it with the given title that we have. So let's turn that on again. Here we go.
VoiceOver on Chrome Canary. Today-i candidate list shown. Submit TIL post. Undo vote. Button list 6 items. Upvote button. System
oh, is the markup correct here? Let's see.
today-i-learned.dev. Google Chrome Canary window. Upvote button. Chrome Canary.
Let's see. Aria described by, and then we have a.
To enter this table, page DOM table, no selection. You are currently on a table. To enter this table, press Control Option Shift down arrow.
That looks correct to me, to be honest. Let's see, there are some accessibility dev tools in Chrome too, so let's have a look what happens when we have a look at these.
Closing menu, more tab accessibility button, table, A4 Live 6 WIVJDACLRG1.
Okay, let's just go the shorter way here. And I'm just gonna pass in an Aria label because I know that works. So what we can do here is we can bring in undo vote for, and then we bring in the title, and then we have here something like upvoters includes user ID, and then we do undo, and then we do vote. Yep. So final try on that topic here, so let's see where this goes. So when we now turn on VoiceOver again.
System pretzel window button. Chrome Connect candidate URL undo vote for hello world toggle button list 6 items. You are currently vote for hey I learned how to use React Form something button. You are currently on a button. To click this button, press Control Option Space undo vote for hey I learned how to use React Form something. Vote for hey I learned how to use React Form something.
Oh, I think that's nice. I think this is super cool.
Pretzel system preferences pretzel stream
Okay.
stream system voiceover off.
Here we go. Cool. So with this, what we basically have is that we have vote unvote functionality for people that are logged in, and we can submit new things here, something like hello world, final test for this functionality. URL is https://example.com. That works, and I think it's pretty nice. So I guess then with this, let's have a look how the code looks. We can clean up some things here. Here we go, like that. And what was that? We need an empty string here, I guess. So if user, and link is not link, link is URL. And then we have this one here. And I guess with this, nice. So with this, what we now have, you can find out. So basically, people in the chat can interact with my camera. You find more information when you. Yeah, here we go. Niels beats me to it. So there's a bunch of stuff that I have here in the chat. So basically what is happening actually in the background is that there is a Next.js application, another Next.js application running in the background. And when you now type something into the chat, that is running as an overlay there or there or there, is actually JavaScript and stuff. So when I now do hello world here, you should see, here we go. You don't see it because it is behind the other windows. Here we go. So this is now basically the web application that powers the live stream video. So let's try another one, and I think it's pretty cool. This is how all the fancy streamers have their own custom setup these days, and it's all just JavaScript and stuff, which is pretty nice. So, but back to topic. So what we now have here is our Next.js application that fetches data from I see, we get the party started here now. So the commands that are available are, animate, you had that, celebrate with something was cool. We have dress up, if you feel like that I should dress up, get a cat, hack it, shave. And if you want to skip the music, because I'm still figuring out what music we should play in here, you can also skip the music using skip track and TIL and Viking. Feel free to go wild here. But what should we do next? I mean, we could clean up, I still have a little bit of time, like maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour. We could clean up the authentication logic so that we have it on top with a proper header, maybe to log in, log out. But we could maybe also start working on the index route, which could be a thing. So I feel like we should clean up the auth handling and kind of have something nice and proper. Because what we currently have is, so let's comment, let's maybe comment this one in when all is cool. So how do we do the handling here? So currently when we compare the two, oops, no, that's not what I want to do. When we compare the two routes that we have currently, we have on the index route, we have this functionality here, which is user, login, logout, and error. And this is all handled with this use user hook that we have already available. So I think that it's now time for a proper header component and maybe some layout or something. So let's see, unless there are any other things that you think that we should do. So let's see, is there something in Next.js like a layout wrapper or something? Layout example, that looks good. So persistent layout stuff. Is that a code sandbox or is that a video? Okay. So let's have a look how this is done. Well, that's not that's not going nicely here. Come on, code sandbox. Okay, so we have here an index file. There's a component that is called site layout, and it accepts children. Yeah, I think we should do something similar here. Yeah, I think that's a nice thing. Cool. So let's bring in a new component. Do we have components already? No, because right now I'm really in cowboy coding mode. So let's bring in components, and then site layout.js. And what I want to do here is we want to do export default function. And this now should accept children. And then basically, when we should be able to just have something like div, blah, 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 hello from my wrapper, and then we do children. I think that should work. So when we now go back, let me just move that one to the right side. Well, that worked great. Let's move that one to the... What? Okay, so when we now go back to our page route, what I'm expecting to be able... we can clean up some things first. So use Firestore is not used anymore, which is nice. And then we can drop this one. And get tilpos from URL, which was a util that we wrote last week. We can drop that one too. So let's remove this one. Yeah, aren't we all cowboy coders every now and then? Maybe I should have a command for that for cowboy coding. I think that would actually be nice something. Yeah, you get the idea. Okay, so so what did I call it? Site layout from. Let's see, going up the tree, and then components. And we go site layout. So and I assume now that when we go down here, we could have site layout here. And I think this could now already have... No, it did not. Update this one. So when we go here, component, nothing was returned from render. Here we go. Because this should be like this maybe. Ah, and here we go. Here we have our wrapper already. Nice. So what I'm thinking here now, and isn't it beautiful that since the latest React update, you don't have to include React on top anymore? I think this is beautiful. I think that's just super nice. So what we want to do here now though is that we want to import this hook here, and then we can build up a header that includes login, logout and stuff. So let's bring in use user, and now we need a bag of function here. So let's bring this one back in, return Something like that. And now we do not this one. What we now do is what's called index. This is actually what we're looking for. And then we have this logic here. This makes a lot of sense to me. Here we go. All right, let's see how this works. Okay, so what we now could, oh, if that would work now on first try, that would be super nice. So let's log out. Sweet, and all, and everything disappeared. So when I now refresh the whole thing, we should be able to log in again, and everything should magically work. Logging in. Oh man, I'm digging. Oh, I think that is already super nice. I think this is nice. So let's get rid of this one. We have log in, we have log out. And now we basically have already the logging mechanism in our little app available, and we can log. Oh, this is super, super cool. So when I can upvote things, we can undo voting. Nice. So with this, we can also clean up some things here, because now we have a layout component basically. So let's remove this one and let's add this one here. And now we basically, when we go back to the index stuff, we can also drop this stuff. And with this, oops, styles is not defined. Okay, so should we stick with the default styling from Next.js, or is it now time for something else? I mean, I have absolutely no preference here. Recently, I have to say that I'm enjoying this whole Tailwind trend quite a little bit. Versal SVG was that. But I know that Niels brought up, where's Versal SVG? That Niels brought up emotions quite a few times, so we could do that too. I haven't used that so far. So let's bring this to just this one in. Footer. Here we go. And we have still the styles problem, so oops. Let's do it like this. That is not correct. Why is that there? Because we have it probably here. Footer. Let's remove this one. Nice. So with this now we have a header for logging in, logging out. We have a footer component, which we have here. And everything is basically working nicely. I think we could add some styling, or we could have a look at if we want to deploy the whole thing, because that failed miserably the last time. And with this, let's just commit and see if we can fix the deployment issue from last time. Okay, we have some comments from Next.js here, so let's do that first in our site layout component. It's complaining that we're not naming things here. I know that you're not that much into the styling part on here. So do you have any preference? Bam, 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 bam. What did we call that? Site layout. And this is now children here. And basically what we want to do is we want to remove this one here. And this is not named anymore. This is now site layout. With this we should be back to topic. Nice. We're logged out, logged in. Cool. Yeah, but it seems all to work. Yeah, I'm fine with, because we're already 2 hours in almost. I'm fine with not opening the styling topic here right now. But overall, I feel like this is already a very nice result for today, because now we have a cleaned up structure for voting in Firestore. And let's see if we can figure out why it didn't deploy the last time. So let's see what we have here. Package JSON, blah blah blah. Let's see what was the problem last time. That would be actually cool, because then we could see if someone else than myself could, if someone else can upvote here actually. So add proper voting for till posts. All right, then let's do CSS. Let's do CSS the next time. I think that this is already quite something here. And I just pushed the whole thing to Vercel, and let's see what we do here. So first of all, we I called Vercel CLI last week, so it was not connected to Git like at all. And you see that there's a red dot showing that well, things didn't work out. So let's see if we can connect that and can, as a last goal for today, deploy that to Vercel actually. So the repository in GitHub is today-i-learned.dev. Let's bring that one. Can I save that? Is that automatically doing the integrations and stuff? Connected successfully. Well, should I refresh that here now? Usually it's all setting that up automatically, isn't it? So what we're looking here for, can we just create a hook? Main. Is that now deploying automatically when I push a new... So I'm just triggering an empty commit. Let's see if something happens here. Yeah, it doesn't look like it, huh? Oh! Nice. It actually did. Alright. I don't worry about that too much, so let's see if we can deploy that now. Dun, 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 dun. Well, that's a good start here already. Incorrect peer dependencies. Okay, this is all the stuff from the RSS feeds, which we probably should just clean up, I guess. Is that failing now or is that succeeding? Ooh. I don't know what failed the last time, but... Oh, nice. Posts, what was our route? Posts 1. Oh, nice. Do you want to give that a try and see if you can add things and log in and out? But the login doesn't seem to work. Do I have to add this URL for login to Firebase, maybe? So how did we do the login? Authentication. Am I exposing things here again? Is there an error when we do it? Let's see. Yeah, no error. Let's have another look at the environment variables. I think that let's remove this lock. Where's this massive lock coming from? It's probably this. Okay. So here we have the environment variables. And when we go to today I learned settings, environment variables. So we have here a bunch of things. Is this how the values look like? These values don't look correct, huh? Oh, this is new. This wasn't like that before, wasn't it? Can I have a look at these values? What do I see here? Yeah, right, you're right, we're not in production, so these maybe are not available. What is tricky though is that these are, oh, these make it into the front-end code maybe? Why do we see, what puzzles me a little bit is that these kind of things are available. So why are they? Which is a little bit weird. Okay, I would say that the last time we did this, we were we were a little bit in a rush. So let's just do a little bit of manual cleanup here and let's see what happens. First of all, is it removing actually things? Yeah, it is. Okay. Because we want to have different environment variables for production later, to have different Firebase IDs. That makes total sense. So when we now add a new one, I want to have a secret. And what is all that stuff? I don't get it. Let's go with plain text for now then. And now it's a little bit of annoying copy and paste. We're not gonna do that in, yeah, whatever for now. Okay. Save that one, yeah. I did exactly the same thing the last time. But I feel like they updated the UI somehow. I don't think that we did that the last time. Because we didn't have the option to select the environments when we created the variables. Okay, here we go. Almost there. And I'm really not quite sure if I'm exposing not very bad information here. Okay. And these should probably be secrets in the first place, but I was confused about the whole thing. Okay, so let's trigger a new deploy. Where do we do that? Can we do that again? Okay, let's just trigger a new one from here. Moment of truth, it's coming. What? It triggered once. What the? Is that not working anymore? Can I redeploy that then somehow? Okay, that looks good. Same thing, but with different configuration options. Cool. So let's see what happens now. I wonder if, when we go to GitHub, we should probably see the deployment hooks in the settings or something. Is it like integrations? Let me just quickly bring up my password manager. Oh, I think I have to do 2 of A too. Oh no, okay. Yeah, it looks like that is actually done. Maybe it's looking at commit messages or something, I don't know. Okay, so let's see. We still have a bunch of log messages. Something is not right here. Something is weird. So I'm looking also into the whole project for console logs, and I have absolutely no clue where this all this is coming from here. Okay, but it succeeded building again. So we have the app here again. So let's do posts 1. Same problem, but I also don't know. So I don't know how to debug that, to be honest. Is that the right source code? Where is that? I feel like it's not the latest code, maybe? I have no idea. That is actually a good point. So Versal is not... Oh, that is a very good point. Very good point. So Versal is running this here. And okay, so let's see if we have the same result when we do it locally. So when I now do yarn build, we're also doing a production build. And then we can use a static HTTP server to see what happens locally here. All right. Good call. Very good call. Development and production, two different things. So it right now it only takes that long because, okay, so because there's still the RSS logic in there. So let's have a look where this went actually. Public? Maybe? No. Shouldn't there be a dist folder or something? No. Where is it building all that stuff? So let's see what the command is here. Isn't it built? Let's look into the settings, what the default command is for next. It is next build, npm run build. This is what we're doing. Okay. And the default directory is next.js default, which is what? Shouldn't we see it in here? I think we're doing a static. Aha. Oh my goodness, I'm completely lost here right now. So there's... Just curious, where authorized domains coming from? Okay, let's do step by step. Yeah. So for other static site generators, I'm usually there's a build output folder, and you see a lot of HTML going. But when I look here at the at the next output, there's stuff going on here. So how do I debug that locally? Do I have to use the Vercel CLI to do that? I'm a little bit confused. And then we have Hassan. Where's the authorized domains coming from? Next export. All right, that sounds good. Let's do that, and then. But how does it work when we look at the build command here? It shows us that it's running npm run build or next build. Isn't that the same then as next export? So let's do yarn export. Copying public directory. Okay. Nothing. I think it's time for node build help. What do we have here? Build, start, exports, dev, and telemetry. Yeah, so the current problem is as follows. So when we do locally, we do yarn dev here. Everything. Okay, so next build is more like bundling, okay. So but the thing here is now that when I run yarn dev locally, we have here this thing, and I hope that it still works. Come on. So we have here the application that we had so far, and I can log out of Firebase, and I can log in, and it does these kind of things, right? So it logs me in automatically, and everything looks good. When I now go to Versal, and we check the deployments, and we go here and see what is deployed, we can have a look at what's going on here. I'm going to the same route. So what you see is that the application is probably deployed. Everything looks good. It's also fetching some data from the Firestore. But when I log in, there's absolutely nothing happening. And it looks like either environment variables are failing, or I don't know actually what's going on. Next build is something you have to do before next export. Next export spits out an all out folder. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try that locally, but before I do that, I'm gonna trigger deploy, and I clean all the caches. Just because have you turn it on and off again is usually a good thing, I guess. Promote. Should we inspect the deployment? And I think also that I see the logs here is fairly funky, because it doesn't feel like to me it's the latest source code for some reason. So first, redeploy with clean caches. Can I clean the caches somehow, or is caching something with the same source code as the current deploy in the user's configuration? Can I not clean caches anymore? Hey Cowglow, how's life? So what we did here is that we built today-i-learned.dev, which is a Next.js application. It connects to Firebase Firestore. You can log in, you can upvote, unvote things, so that all works pretty nicely. You can log out and log in Firebase. And now we're just deploying it to Vercel, and nothing is actually working. And that's what we're basically debugging here right now. Did we define routes and index? But I don't think we have a route problem here. So when we look at this current deployment, the routes are actually there. It's really just, it is able to fetch the data from Firebase. The only thing that is not working is the login and log out. And Next.js does also a lot of magic, right? So that I cannot just generate the output with build and export. So what happens for the next people when I... Ooh, Hassan, where do I define authorized domains? Is that in Firestore? Firebase, Firestore, whatever it's called. So we're here in Firestore. No, we're in authentication. And we have here my one user. Settings, maybe? All right, so let's have a look. So when I click this, is there an... Oh yeah. So you say you debug it from the network console. I don't see anything in the network console though. But I think you're right that we probably should have... That this should probably be whitelisted from somewhere. So let's see if there is something here in the settings somewhere. And I'm exposing still keys here and I have no clue what I'm doing. So service account. Okay, now we're onto something. Gotcha. So, auth. Okay, let's. Copy paste, okay. Authentication providers. So let's go back here. Authentication. Sign in method. Here we go. Nice. Okay, we're getting closer here. So let's just add the production app here, which I think is still available. Yep. So when we now go add domain. Okay. And when we now go back to posts 1. Nice! Thank you, Niels. I'm still figuring out the music, as said. All right, friends. Last thing for today. I'm just gonna post. Let's see what we do here. So the last thing is what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go into the Firestore thing, and I'm gonna completely wipe out the database, and we're gonna delete this, and we have this one running here. I'm gonna post this one in here. And now I'm just gonna wait if something happens. Can you try to log in and maybe add a learning web development with a URL, and then we see if that's gonna work. Oh, that is so cool. Oh man, is that cool. I'm absolutely into it. Yeah, I'm drinking a Gösser. Radler, yeah. Alright friends, I think this was a pretty decent session here today. So what we basically did is that we completely refactored what we did last week. So we used this hooks package here, which is called React Firebase hooks. Then we used React form hook, which Niels recommended, and basically we rebuilt the whole functionality to store data in Firebase Firestore. So people can now submit things here. People can log in, log out, upvote and downvote things. We already discovered or said that next week we're gonna make this a little bit prettier here. So what we're gonna do is probably next week around, I'm in Berlin, Germany, around 8:30 p.m. we're gonna spend a little bit of time styling this. But overall, the functionality with login and listing some things and upvoting and downvoting, man, this works in real time. I think this is so cool. I'm doing this every Tuesday around 8:30-ish CET Europe. And with this, I think, man, I'm super duper happy because I think it's super cool. We have the first functionality in here. Next week we're gonna style it a little bit with CSS, modules, emotion, or whatever we want to do. And with this, I would give myself and all the people, thanks René and Niels and all the others that were around, a little bit of celebration here. So let's do the celebrate for last time. And cool. Thank you everybody. Thank you everybody for watching, and we see you, if you want to, see you next week, Tuesday, 8:30 CET. See ya.